The Constitution's first page reads like a singular preamble, but legally operates as an intricate four-part blueprint designed to govern the modern Indian state. The architecture of this document didn't begin as a legal preface. It originated from the Objectives Resolution, drafted and moved by Jawaharlal Nehru in December 1946. The Constituent Assembly formally adopted that resolution in January 1947, laying the ideological groundwork long before the final articles of the Constitution were completed. What emerged was this densely packed page. To understand it, we must split the text into four operational quadrants: the source of authority, the nature of the state, the objectives of the Constitution, and the date of adoption. This schematic establishes the technical parameters for the Indian state and defines how its constituent parts are intended to function. The first quadrant establishes authority. By opening with "We the people of India," the document explicitly bypasses any external power or hereditary monarch, locating the ultimate source of political legitimacy directly in the citizenry. From that source, the text defines the original nature of the state using three pillars. The first is sovereign. This means India operates completely free of external control in both its domestic and foreign affairs. Even its membership in international bodies like the UN or the Commonwealth has no legal effect on this independence. The second pillar, democratic, refers specifically to an indirect, representative parliamentary democracy. The system relies entirely on universal adult franchise, where periodic elections translate the will of the electorate into legislative action. The third pillar, republic, draws a hard line against a monarchy. In a monarchy, the head of state holds a hereditary position. A republic means the head of state is elected, driving power bottom up from the electorate and legally eliminating any privileged class. Together, these three baseline concepts formalize the state's structural independence and permanently vested all political sovereignty in its citizens. That structural nature remained unchanged until the 42nd Constitutional Amendment of 1976. This marks the only time the preamble has ever been amended, injecting two new operational philosophies into the document: socialist and secular. The Indian application of socialist has a specific legal definition. It refers to democratic socialism, a mixed economy framework where public and private sectors coexist. This differs from communistic socialism, which mandates the abolition of private property and total nationalization. Instead, the Indian model blends elements of Marxism with a distinct tilt toward Gandhian ideals of decentralized economic empowerment. Similarly, the addition of secular established a uniquely positive concept of secularism. Rather than enforcing a strict separation where the state ignores religion entirely, positive secularism mandates that all religions hold the same legal status and are entitled to equal support and protection from the state. The 1976 amendment left the core democratic architecture intact, but codified the specific socioeconomic models the state is bound to utilize. Once the nature of the state is established, the preamble shifts to its third quadrant, the objectives. This section lists the specific outcomes the state must secure for its citizens, utilizing concepts drawn from global historical movements. It begins by mandating three forms of justice: social, economic, and political, a philosophical framework adapted from the Russian Revolution. When combined, social justice, which guarantees equal treatment regardless of caste or religion, and economic justice, which targets inequalities in wealth and property, form what is known as distributive justice. Next, the document lists liberty, equality, and fraternity. Adapted from the French Revolution, these three are treated as a union of trinity. The removal of one effectively hollows out the other two. Neither liberty nor equality are absolute guarantees. They are qualified concepts, deliberately constrained by specific limitations outlined in the fundamental rights of the Constitution itself. As seen in this breakdown, equality operates across three distinct constitutional dimensions: civic rights, political access, and economic directives. Finally, fraternity ensures a sense of brotherhood to secure the dignity of the individual. In 1976, the word integrity was added to this clause, recognizing the need to bind together the diverse castes, religions, and languages within the nation. These objectives define the outcomes the state must strive for, providing the philosophical justification for the specific articles of the Constitution that follow. Despite being the architectural schematic of the Constitution, the preamble's actual legal weight remained a point of judicial contention for decades. In the 1960 Berubari Union case, the Supreme Court explicitly ruled that the preamble was not a part of the Constitution. This interpretation remained the standard until the 1973 Kesavananda Bharati case reached the Supreme Court. In Kesavananda, the Supreme Court reversed its stance, declaring the preamble an integral, amendable part of the Constitution, but with strict constraints. It is non-justiciable, cannot be enforced in court, and grants no explicit legislative power. Furthermore, the Kesavananda ruling established that while Parliament can amend the preamble, it has no authority to alter or destroy its basic features. It cannot be used as a weapon in a lawsuit, but the preamble stands as the immovable philosophical bedrock of Indian law, an interpretive lens that restricts legislative overreach while setting the exact coordinates for the Republic.